Do you think we need to bring back some history and some balance to our education so that we remember how fragile our wonderful civilization actually is?
Absolutely. I mean, I think education is the only way to solve this problem, and that is basically what the Other Side Australia is about this week. So I'm glad you raised that, because it's all about the crisis in education. It was a 16-year-old girl that was among those high school marchers, and we had a clip from her on the other side last week. This week we're looking at her comments in more detail and how they reflect this terrible abuse. These people on the left, these adults that prey, they really are predators. They prey on these kids, and they go into these high schools. They find these kids that are vulnerable, and they fill their head with nonsense. And this poor kid, she's on TV and she's talking about Palestine and Gaza 1 minute, and then talking about the evils of capitalism in the next breath, as if there's a connection between the two that only she can see. And it just made absolutely no sense.
We are funding Israel's murder towards Palestinians with our own taxpayer dollars, the same taxpayer dollars that are funding our education. How can we, sit back and just let this all happen? I mean, as a socialist, I want to fight for every single person who is oppressed by this horrible capitalist system.
Unfortunately, the hosts on that program, instead of calling her out, or producers perhaps not even putting her there in the first place, because they would have screamed that she isn't quite across what she knows, what she thinks she knows. They don't do that anymore. We don't have adults in the room. We have a bunch of hipsters, whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't exactly call the people on the project, very fashionable or hip, but they pretend to be, they try to be, they want to be. And that's their whole shtick. And they're so desperate to be approved of by the young and to be seen as cool and hip that they would never criticise a 16-year-old girl for the things that she's saying, or not put her on TV.
Which is, of course, cruel, because the young should not be left to those sorts of thoughts. It will eventually get them into trouble.